In cunning ways, the make-believe. Cunning ways, they shame me. Flesh and this society will always be as a drunken of the wine, controlling all the senses for understanding great divine. I will send fire to this land.
Peace and blessings. This is your brother Gabar, and this is I Am Fit, going God's way. Let's go. I Am Fit, man, going God's way. Did I screw that up, that title? Getting old, so forgive me. All right. So let's have a conversation. I was just, I got some questions more than answers today. So today's basically a review of my thoughts on the movie that came out, the Book of Clarence. For those that are not familiar with the Book of Clarence, it's a movie that came out, I think, 2 weeks ago, and it's not doing so well. I would say there's some issues there with the box office. But let me give you my particular opinion on the movie. So when I saw the preview, I was like, okay, this is going to probably be interesting. Clearly, what I noticed, it was like a satire, a movie that's going to be a comedy. I didn't know where it was going. The budget of the movie, I believe, is about $40 million. And I would say that the movie, every penny is well spent in regards of the quality of the movie. The basic quality of the movie, it was very well done. The director is the same guy, and the same people that were involved with this project is the same movie of the people that were involved with The Heart of the Fall. It was a Nick flick movie. It was a black western. It was a Wild Wild West movie with a full African American staff. I saw that as well last night. Loved it. Great movie. And one thing I noticed that the director, I forgot the director's name. Let me see if they have down here. I know Jay-Z was involved. I believe the director's name is James McCliff. Let me see. I'll get the name, but I know it's supposed to be Seal's brother. The singer Seal is his kid brother. It's actually he did behind a lot of, directed by James Samuel, I believe that's his name. And he did a real good job. But I wonder, why is it a flop? Let me explain. And this, like I said, this is a spoiler alert. So if you haven't seen the movie, and if you have, I want to also hear your opinion. Before we start, I just want to get a thumbs up. Make sure you guys can hear me. Make sure I'm coming in clear. The Jig 1611, I see you as well. Let me see if I can hear myself. Let me explain. And this, like I said, okay, I think I'm good. All right, so the visual, for me, I think this is one of the best visual movie I've seen in a long time. It's even more realistic, if you will, in regards of the time period, obviously, because they have people of color, but much more than that, the actual background of Jerusalem. This movie made me feel like I was in Jerusalem. I was in Israel 2,000 years ago with the people of Israel, dealing with the struggle of Israel under Roman persecution. I felt that in this movie. Visually speaking, it was a very well put together movie. The story needs some work. Obviously, it took you into different, sometimes it got serious, sometimes it's, it got serious and then threw a joke. It was a comedy after all. It was a satire. But They did not disrespect Christianity, first of all, and I was surprised of that. They respected and made Christ look great and honorable and respectful, and his disciples. So there's nothing there. Obviously, there was some jokes here and there with the apostle going back and forth, or there was a scene where John the Baptist baptized a character, and that was kind of funny as well. But and the guy who played them is the guy who played Martin Luther King in the movie Selma, a good actor. I was sad watching this movie. I want to tell you why. Because it was a beautiful put together movie. And when the areas of, like, they were serious, the area that they were serious and they were talking about serious subject matter, it was a powerful scene when Christ saved Mary Magdalene, who is usually portrayed in movies as a woman who got caught in adultery, and they were stoning her, or about to stone her. That was a powerful scene, which it was great, but it could have been better because they could have do without the comedy. My personal opinion. Shalom, Brother Ricky, I see you there. Shalom, shalom. So, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Give me a yes, saw the movie. No, I haven't seen the movie. Also, let me know if you plan to see the movie or not plan to see the movie. I'm just curious because I want to hear your thoughts, right? The movie did very poorly. Is right now at a little over $4 million worldwide. It opened up at, I think 2 million opening weekend. It broke down Friday, it made $1 million. Saturday made 800,000. Sunday 600,000 or over. Monday 400,000. Tuesday over 200,000. Wednesday over 170,000. So you can clearly see it only has put together 4,780,355 folks have seen this particular movie in regards of dollar. So it hasn't gotten support. All the reaction that I have seen on this movie, and we're going to talk about the sister as well in a bit, but it hasn't done so good. And I think people should see it. I think it's a good visual representation. It has some powerful scene. The crucifixion scene was powerful. It has some subliminal messages. I see here Brother Jacob says, haven't seen it, we'll check it out when it comes stream. Right, and this movie is going to go to stream pretty quickly because, as you know, it hasn't done well in theaters, and they're probably going to lose some money on this with this. But nevertheless, this fundamentally was a good Christian movie. There was nothing non-Christian about it. I mean, behind the whole, plot, it was about, Clarence is the twin brother of Thomas. Like I said, this is going to be a spoiler. So if you don't want any spoilers, watch it after you've seen it. And this, Clarence is like a guy who was trying to be the 13th apostle. That didn't work out, so he started doing his own thing. And then that didn't work out, and then people began to believe he was a Messiah, but then he began to tell people, no, it was a trick, because then the Romans wanted to kill him, and then you had to kind of see it was like a entanglement, so to speak. Comedy, drama, and a little bit of both, and a little offbeat satire. But the visualization is, it's one of the best I've seen. And it is a shame that until this day, we have not seen a serious biblical movie with a full African-American, so-called African-American. We all know from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, all the Gadites, all the tribes, a more accurate representation of the tribe of Israel, particularly in the time of Christ. I love the actor who they picked for Christ. He played it well. I mean, it was limited roles because the movie was not about him necessarily, but it was a movie that it really portrayed him well. And I would like to have seen him in other movies as well. Maybe that would inspire him. I see Brother, let's see, I got a caller. Let's see if I could get Brother Trent in. Let's see if we are.
What's good, my brother?
Hey, Brother Trent.
Hey, Brother Trent. Shalom, brother.
Wait a minute. I hear myself.
Hey,
Okay.
good. I'm listening to your podcast, man. I thought that we might be able to make this a good little discussion.
I appreciate you, man. You sound good. I know you've been busy a lot. You've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes. So thanks that you are calling and sharing your thoughts. So I know you haven't seen the movie yet. I know a lot of people haven't seen the movie. Why do you think this movie didn't do well? I mean, Jay-Z was behind it. I know the promotion wasn't as big as maybe other movies like Crowd and Freedom, but I'm kind of taken back. I got my theories why it didn't do well. I don't know if you want to hear them first or you have your theories, but why do you think this movie did extremely bad? I mean, I was expecting at least 10 million.
For the marketing, right? Like the marketing, to be honest, I really didn't know about it. You were the first one to tell me about it. Some of these nuances that kind of go on, like you will hear about them on TikTok. And I was kind of, to be honest, it had some hype about 4 months ago. I think that's when you told me about it, and I was looking forward to it. You remember that? But you know what's interesting? The marketing dropped off over the 4 months. Like the marketing was hot 4 or 5 months ago. Mm-hmm. And I knew it's like, oh, okay, Jay-Z is producing it, co-producing. And it's the same director that did The Harder They Fall. And I thought that was an amazing movie on Netflix. Yeah. So it's two things. I think one, the marketing dropped off, after the initial hoopla over it. I hadn't seen any marketing after that on TikTok or anywhere else on social media. And the second thing is that it went straight to the movie theater. See, The Harder They Fall went straight to Netflix. Yeah. Everybody watched it. Yeah. Everyone talked about it. I don't think that was a wise plan from a production side to go straight to, unless it's like a major movie. I really like, you are burying yourself before you get an opportunity to launch going straight to the movie theaters today, because we live in a streaming age. Everyone wants to be within the comfort of their own home and watch a movie, especially during the winter. Yeah. And you're right. I mean, you're right. What do you think?
You're right. It's just, I don't know, man. I felt a little teary-eyed, to be honest with you, at the end of the movie, that this beautiful display, because that brother that is the director who did Hard to Fall, I think he's the next, I mean, he's a real talented brother. I mean, I felt I was in Jerusalem. And I never felt that with any other movie. Like, I was like, I could see that. I could see that going on. It's like, and even in the midst of the satire and all that, and I just felt sad, man. I just felt that, damn, like, the first major motion picture of Christ being portrayed in the movie. Brilliant, by the way. Every actor was solid, man. There was no weak actors. No weak scene. None.
Do you think it being a spoof was disadvantageous? Or, I mean, what do you think? Do you think that kind of nullified its credibility, that it was a spoof?
Yeah, maybe they felt that was the safest way. I don't know. Maybe they felt that, maybe this will be an introduction to, I don't know. I don't know what went through their mind. I said, Brother Ricky says, let's be real. Jay-Z's making a biblical movie is like Satan saying he is still an angel of light. And I get you, but see, sometimes, and you're probably right, but if you watch the movie, like I said, I don't want to be a spoiler. It is, I want to make some spoiler alerts. So he converts.
That's a good point, though.
He converts at the end.
That's a good point.
As a Christian.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. How many people who are listening in right now believe that Jay-Z is a credible source from a religious pretense?
No.
Do you think?
I think
right?
he's probably
Maybe
looking. He probably thought this would be a money maker, maybe in his mind. African American, his name. He was not the only one that financially was involved. I think there was other producers, so he probably put in 10 million, maybe 15 out of the 40. But
do people think that Jay-Z is like a Satan worshiper or not? Do people think?
Yeah,
do people
yeah.
think
And
Jay-Z
I think
is literally?
that probably heard the movie too. That probably heard the movie because, Jay-Z with the Jehovah or Jehovah making do that well. Yes, I think that did hurt the movie because all the critics that I've seen, specifically within the African American community of the tribe of Israel, we all know the Israel, but people may not understand what I'm saying, did not see it because of that. The perception of Jay-Z dealing with the dark side.
What's your perception of Jay-Z?
If you ask, the average Joe, they will think it all depends. If you're a Christian, most Christians will say, yeah, he's not a believer, right? He's do as that will. He put a shirt, years ago. That became, and many Christians view him as maybe a sellout to Satan for fame and fortune. Most African American in the hood or what have you, view him as one of the greatest rapper of all time. So it depends who you ask. But I think what hurt this movie is that it was I think the people that rejected this movie the most was our people. I think it was like the people that are not Christian are like, okay, Jay-Z's involved. I may watch this when it comes out streaming, but I'm not going to go out and support this because I don't want to see a comedy movie about Christ or the Book of Clarence. It's a spook. I'll wait until it comes out. And I think that's where I heard it. Yeah, that's where I heard it. I think you're right. I think the trailer could have been better. They could have shown better scenes. Like there was a scene, man. There was a scene that, like I said, he got crucified like Christ. And while he was going through this process, he was trying to convince people he's not the Messiah. And at this point, he already converted. But it was too late because the mess he was in. They already made it, and the Romans didn't want anybody who was claiming to be a Messiah. They just crucify him. So he went to exactly what Christ went through. And I chose the thumbnail of the Pharisee looking down at him, not at Christ, because it was his book, the Book of Clarence. Christ was behind the scenes. He was not really the main focus of the movie. It was on this young man that didn't believe in God, believe in knowledge, wisdom, science, and his religion is based on that wisdom is stronger than belief, and that was his thesis. However, I would have liked for them to even dug a little more in that part about challenging belief versus knowledge. They could have done more with that, and I believe they came short with that. But he converted.
If you were Cisco and Ebert and could rate the movie from 1 to 10, 1 being the least, 10 being the greatest, where would you put it?
I don't know. It's hard for me because you and I was having this conversation. It's like it's hard for guys for us because we're gonna be critiquing it from every biblical. That's not what happened, and that's not uh, I was just a solid 6.5, 7. You know, it is worth to watch just on the merit of like, it's the first best depiction of our people in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. And it was just sad and I was happy and it was a whole kinds of different emotions, if that makes sense.
Were there any moments where is it a tearjerker at all?
Some moments
in certain moments.
Some moments you can be. Like I said, at the end, everybody. I mean, the theater was, you know, pretty empty. It wasn't like, you know, it was like maybe 10 people, 5, 6 families, you know, couples here and there. It didn't do well.
There you go. What was the primary race of the 10 people that were in the theater?
Everybody was quiet. There was some free laughter.
No, the race.
Yeah.
No, the race. What was the race of the 10 people? Black, Hispanic, white?
I noticed a black couple, and they kind of were like, you could tell that they were very emotional at the end. Like they were like sitting down. We were the first one to stand, me and my family. And we looked back, and there were some people talking, but there was one couple I noticed, they were like, just like contemplating. You know, it's a very beautiful visual movie, man. It's a very beautiful movie. Like it doesn't deserve. Like it's like you take a beautiful thing and you ruin it by putting it in the wrong context. If that makes sense. And like I said,
okay. Let me use
sense?
something as an example, if I may. The reason why I think movies that are streamed are way more important today is because word of mouth is huge today. Like, I give you an example. If you checked out the movie and was like, yo, TC, brother, and you send me the link to it, you know, we send each other links all the time. Yeah. I'm checking it out. Yeah. Especially if you send like a exclamation point, gotta check this out, my guy. I'm checking it out.
Yeah.
You can't do that, though, when the movie is released in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Can't send a link. Can't send a link to that.
Yeah.
Like Cat Williams, right? Cat Williams, that with Shay, right? 53 million views. You know why? Links, brother. Being sent to the phone. You can check it out right then and there, whether you're at work, whether you're driving, whatever you're doing. So I think that's probably, you know.
They could have done better marketing. They could have done better marketing. They definitely could have done better marketing. But what hurt them was that the African-American community did not turn up for this movie. And they were probably expecting for at least to get a little bit of what we got from, like, you know, the Black Panther movies. You know, they turned up, you know, strongly for that. You know, they probably underestimated the loyalty or what have you. You know, and Jay-Z was a big name, you know, when I was coming up, but the young kids these days, you know, he's like grandpa these days for many young kids. I don't know. I don't know why it didn't do well. But I just felt that, you know, I don't know. As a Christian, a believer in God, I just feel that anything that you deal with the Bible, you know, and especially the first time ever, well, not the first time, there was another movie called The Color of the Cross, but it was a low-budget movie that had, you know, Christ played as a black man. But that movie, you know, went straight to video. This movie was, and like I said, visually, it was even better than the Passion of the Christ. For me, it was a better.
Wow. I mean, that's saying a lot.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, wow. I was really although the story wasn't.
What would you rate what would you rate Passion of the Christ from 1 to 10? Because you gave Clarence.
So the Passion of the Christ.
7.
Okay.
What would you give Passion of the Christ?
The Passion of the Christ. I would have. You know, clearly the Romans, and the part when, you know, the character what's his name? Convene something. Convene. forgot the the actor's name who played Christ in the movie.
Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel, that's it. Like the scene, like the Romans were more realistic. Obviously, the language, the whole movie was in Aramaic, so that kind of brought that ancient tone.
Authenticity.
But
yeah,
visually, I felt more. This movie seemed more realistic. And also, one thing that I didn't like about, I didn't like, but I didn't really get from the Passion of the Christ was how the Jerusalem everyday people worked and did and act like and be like, and it seemed more like, yeah, that sounds like Jerusalem. That looks like Jerusalem. That feels like Jerusalem. Wow, this guy knows what he's doing visually. And clearly, when I saw the movie The Heart of the Fall, I said, okay, this guy is really good in his visualization. That's his gift. And that would ride his movie. You know what I'm saying? The movie wasn't a great movie in regards to the story. It was pretty. It was okay. It wasn't great, the storyline. Pretty it was going. The conversion part, that was kind of like a surprise that he converted, but not really because, but the most powerful scene was when he was being crucified, when they thought, the Romans were killing him because he was claiming to be a Messiah. When the Pharisee was looking down on him, like, they would have looked at Christ as well. That was the most powerful scene. There was a comical scene about, well, let me say this. The white, blonde, and blue-eyed Jesus Christ did a cameo as well. I will leave it there. Like I said, it was
really?
It was an interesting, but they threw shots at him. It was a bold movie in many ways. You got to see it. You got to see it for this reason, and because I think despite what we as Bible believers and what we believe and what we think of what's going on behind Hollywood, I think this brother did a great job and in portraying our people correctly. They gave respect to Christ.
Do you think the height of the movie is that they portrayed, Christ and all of the disciples as being black or Negroid back then? You think that that's the greatest
part
of the movie outside of the visualization?
And I think
outside the visuals, do you think that's the greatest part?
Okay, good question. And Brother Ricky, I see you. I got you. I want to hear your opinion as well. Shalom for joining me. Not only the visual was profound, but the acting. They got high quality actors here. They didn't got just newcomers. Everybody was up and coming. Someone who is credible. Someone who is, they got good actors. So the acting and the you understand what I'm saying? Like, so the visual. I guess yes. I would have to say the visual and the who picked the actors for what role. They all did a wonderful job. And it's just a shame that we would not see a movie like that, but given the respect to Christ in the Bible, I think the world deserves that. And I just felt at the end it was sad that it was a bittersweet, so to speak. Brother Ricky, what you got to add to this conversation?
I would like to say, I think right now in this heightened climate of, war and people dealing with financial issues and stuff like that, people are really taking things a lot more seriously nowadays than what they probably would if we wasn't in this heightened climate.
Ooh, that is a great point.
So timing, timing is probably.
That is a great point.
I mean, it's 2024. We're in the middle of possibly World War III. We don't know who's going to be the next president. Yeah. Things are getting hot. According to
All these
many,
migrants coming in.
migrants are coming in. That's because I know we feel that here in New York. I mean, they're packing up the hotels. You can't get a room in New York for a hotel because all the migrants are taking over, and the government, our taxpayers, is paying for it. So, absolutely, maybe it's the timing, but you know, it's I think it's worth seeing when at least when it comes, you know, gets to Netflix or you know, viral. I mean, goes into the, you know, the internet, whatever. But what I also felt is that, okay, it is something going on. Like, if you, okay, the reason why I'm trying to choose my words closely is because I saw the movie. And there was a lot of subliminals in these stories. Like I said, you know, the white Jesus Christ did a cameo. I'll leave it there. They were trying to show that, is there something going on with Jay-Z? If there's something going on with this brother, the director, who Samuel, I think is his last name, spiritually speaking. Because like I said, at the end, this was a fundamental Christian movie. Okay? I mean, at the end, he believed. He went through the crucifixion, crying and saying, I'm not the Christ, I'm not the Messiah. The Romans are whipping him the same way Christ went through the situation. At the end, he got buried, and guess what? Christ resurrected him, like Nazareth.
Really?
At the end.
Really?
Yes. So
Interesting.
and that scene was powerful. Christ, he walked to the tomb. The stone broke in half. So it was like a story that was never recorded in the Bible, but it happened. That was kind of like the scenery they were trying to, at the end, it got real serious and real spiritual. And it was no disrespect to Christianity. It glorified Christianity, as a matter of fact. After the jokes and everything, that end scene of when he got crucified, no more jokes. It got serious. And I think the lesson was, it was a powerful movie, man. It was a powerful movie. It had its powerful moments. I mean, it was 2 hours and 50 minutes long. But you know, it's worth
What's
seeing.
the brother's name again? Who just came? What was the brother's name? Who's online right now? Who's talking right now? What's that brother's name?
Brother Ricky.
What's your name, brother? Okay, brother. I think that is a profound statement that things are so serious right now. I just want to make sure I understand that correctly. Maybe you're like inflation, possibility of war, you know, WEF, NIH, WHO organization, disease X, next possible COVID-19 variant. We have to deal with so many things that maybe we just don't have time to deal with entertainment. Is that what you were ultimately trying to say?
For the most part, yeah. I would say more so is that right now, for the fact that a lot of people are waking up to the truth, and people are starting to take this record book to be a record book and no longer a religious book. People are not taking lightly, you know, jokes and mockery of a book that has been lied on, that has been plagiarized, that has been.
I think we dropped Brother Rick. He'll call back. I know he has usually issues with his phone. But I think what Brother Ricky was saying is correct head on, because most of the criticism of this movie by specifically our people is feeling that the movie is a disrespect to Christianity. And in the surface, it seems like it is, but at when you see it, it's not. But you're right. I think it goes back to the marketing. Brother Ricky, you back? You were saying.
Yeah, I was just saying that during the time that people are awakening to this truth, like people are looking for valid information to help them grow. Because a lot I think for us that have been in this truth for a while, that have been in the know, we may take it for granted to a small extent on how fortunate we are to be in the know for so long versus the hundreds of millions who had no idea.
Yeah.
And so, and then people are hurting. People are hurting pretty bad as far as finances. You know, they might be lying on their little Instagram things and Facebook, but in real life they hurting. And then you come out with this jokery of the Bible, and we don't know how many people are taking this Bible literally nowadays. Then you come out with this during a time period of a lot of uncertainty. People don't know what tomorrow is going to bring.
Yeah.
And so then you come out with this at this time period, you know, it's like, you know, I'm just not up for the jokes right now about that. Like, if it was just a comedy about Kevin Hart wearing a wig, they'll go see that. But about the Messiah, when people right now, like I said, Judah looking for a sign. And people are looking for a sign instead of doing the work and following the law, statutes, and commandments. They hurting and they don't know. And they're like, oh, so when a black man plays something about the Bible, it's a joke. But when Mel Gibson plays something about the Bible, it's all serious. And people want to cry.
Yeah. And
Woo.
I felt that.
Come on, brother. Well said.
I definitely felt that. I definitely felt that. And like I said, I went to see the movie not expecting much, expected to be disrespected, expected to be mocked, expected to make fun of Christianity and the Bible and all that. And they very smartly, the joke was on Clarence. It was all on him because it was all true. You know, Christ was the Messiah. He was trying to be the Messiah, but then he got killed, and Christ brought him back to life, and he believed. And matter of fact, he believed before he came back to life because he walked on water, and God gave him that power, and he was trying to show the Caesar, the Roman emperor guy, listen, I cannot walk on water. Look, I'm going to walk. I'm going to try to walk, and then God made him to walk. So then that's when everything started to be, when people began to believe that he was a Messiah. But he was like, no, it's not me doing this. I don't know who's doing this. So it became like, like the joke was on him because now he was trying to trick the people, but then he got tricked and got killed at the end. And was proven that, and will show that God is real.
Goodbye. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, because I actually like what Brother Ricky, right? Brother Ricky, that's right?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually like what he's saying because, Gabar, we were having a conversation earlier, and, we understand the scriptures. And I got to be honest, man, what I said, you know what, man? The climate of the world and where things are going, I'm not too sure. I don't know if it's another year left, another 2 years, 3, 5, whatever the case may be. But one thing I do know for sure is before Christ returns and cracks that sky, it's going to be a very tumultuous time. And so you were like, TC, well, I mean, what's going on? Are you fearful? And I had to admit, bro, like, a little bit. Why? Because, okay, so Gabar is such a good man. This is for the audience. I will come up with different scenarios of like try to pick the scriptures apart of like where I could do a little bit of sin to have a little bit of fun before the end comes. But Gabar always keeps me on my toes and says, "Look, listen, brother, you have to live by the law, statutes, commandments." I'm like, "You right." And he said, "Man, I like the TC that called me last night. I called last night like, Gabar, we just got to be sold out to the Almighty 100%. We can't be 80-20 anymore." And you were like, "I like that TC better." I think that this is a time where we really can't play with the law, statutes. We can't play with the Father no more.
There is. I feel that grace is slowly, gradually leaving the earth. I think the grace is still here, but every day I feel less of it. Like I feel there is a scarcity of it. Eventually, is going to be no grace. We're going to be back under the rod. And you're right. And I think you and I was having this conversation about, I'm an open polygamist. We had these conversations about that. But I'm afraid to marry a woman in America. Like, nope. Nope. I don't care if people even a woman offer. Nope. I'm too afraid to even take that chance. And I never experienced that before. And I think that is going to be our test. I think as men, for us to be the last man standing, we have to conquer what men physically need, right? We need air, water, food,
Flesh, bro.
and flesh, right? And I think we in that moment when Christ says that some people are eunuch of man, some people become eunuch because, by choice, and some people become eunuch for the kingdom. I think before we're in a situation that we in the kingdom, we have to start thinking before we compromise, because if you are laying with a woman, the scripture says that when you lay with a woman, you become one flesh. Now more than ever, who you lay with, brothers, is one of the most important things you're going to do now until Christ comes. Who you laying with, who's your partner in life, who's your wife, your girl, your side chick, whatever you want to call her, because I don't know if everybody's a Christian. I think what who's listening, and I believe they are, but everybody understand what I'm saying. I think now more than ever, you have to just be like crazy cautious. Are we talking about background checks, questions? Because you're right. A year from now, right? We all read the Club of Rome, the World Economic Forum papers, and they're saying that they're expecting for another pandemic. They're expecting depopulation. They're expecting this. And you and I had this conversation that they've been these type of papers been around since the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, and what have you, right? I mean, the movie 1984 was written and produced and put together.
1945, I believe.
1945, right, exactly. So the enemy have had this visualization of their utopia. I don't know how many times we have, if the angels are still holding back the winds, or we're getting the first draft of the first wing coming in. I don't know where we at, but we clearly.
I think we're past that.
We may
What
be.
do you think? Do you think the angels? Do you think the angels are still holding back the four winds, or do you think we're in the time of who's sealed is sealed?
Things are getting weirder.
And I'll even open that up to Brother Ricky too, and whoever else wants to answer that.
Yeah, Brother Rick,
what do you think? Too, Gabar.
What do you think? Do you think the angels, the four angels in the book of Revelation chapter 7, I heard a voice stating, hold back, the wings until I seal the seal, the saints. Are they holding back the winds, or you think the winds are no longer being held back? What say you, Brother Ricky?
I would say 3 of the winds are being held, because when the Bible said there'll be earthquakes and other things in diverse places, that earthquakes taking place in a lot of places. And then you got to think Africa is split in half. And that split is not just taking place in Africa; it's going through India and other places.
Yeah.
So with that kind of destruction taking place, and then there's a TikTok going around several months ago about it was some a Chinese group doing digging in Africa in a certain place, and they dug so far till they started hearing screams and hollers, and they believed that they knocked on the door of hell. And those kind of screams you heard, you like, well, it definitely wasn't no doggone, 2 Live Crew concert. So what in the world going on? And so, it's just right now, like I said, there's so much uncertainty going on. People ain't taking biblical things in a way of comedy. Like they'll take comedy for comedy. A joke is a joke.
Yeah.
But things that have to do with faith and right, and like the Bible said, it said Judah searched it for a sign. You know how many of our people, instead of, okay, let me go talk to some brothers who are in the know. Let me research myself, because the Bible says, study to show thyself approved, or workman rightly dividing the word. Instead of them really getting into it, they waiting for a sign. They be like, okay, let me get into it now. And that's going to be the downfall of a lot of people.
Yeah, it's
And
almost
so
I feel like
scared.
we're like, what's that thing with when you want to kill a turtle, you put them in the hot water, but you turn up the temperature slightly. What animal is like that? You could
A frog.
A frog.
Yeah, it's a frog. If you throw a frog into boiling water, it'll jump out. But if you throw it into lukewarm water and slowly turn it up, you can boil it to death.
Right, and I think that's where we at right now. We're a bunch of frogs running around. The temperature's getting hotter. Things are getting more weirder. You know, and you know, that's not so. It's not surprising that now that we're seeing the spirits. Because I truly believe that the issue between men and women that's happening here in America is to blame is these spirits that are attacking these women, and because they are the weaker vessel, we're first seeing our outlandish things. Because think about it, and you know, I don't know how you guys are old. You guys, I think I'm the oldest one here. What is normal today?
I'm 44. I'm 44. How are you, Brother Ricky?
I'm 35.
35. I'm 51. But I remember that there were certain things that a woman would never catch herself dead when I was coming up. Like poo-poo shorts, you don't wear that outside. That was an in-house stuff. Young girls doing, you know, these video dancing and pumping their butts up in the air and with their mothers was like unheard of when I was a kid. So it's like it slowly is getting more weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder and weirder. The way he's accepting just weirdness, and I think it's affecting our women because they're the weaker vessel. That's why, sisters, if you're single now and you believe in God, get yourself a righteous man. This is not the time for a woman to be alone, wondering what direction to take. It's time for you to get a man who fears God, who puts him first, and get under his tutelage and teachings. My advice. Brothers, if a woman that you're dealing with is not ready day one, if she's still struggling with things, with disrespect and panicking, right? She may go through the authorities. She's going to take the jab because she feels it's the best, you know, and you're constantly bucking with her. You have to take a decision. You have to make a tough decision because she's going to turn on you when things hits the fan. And there's a lot of brothers, man. I spoke to a brother today that he's dealing with a situation that now he was looking to move on and get on his Enoch, but guess what? He just got a phone call from a woman he was dealing with months ago that now she's expecting his baby. Now he cannot be on his Enoch. He's ready to be a daddy. He gave that woman that power. He gave her that authority over him now. Now, if he wants to see his child, he has to deal with this woman. He was willing. He was looking into getting himself more mentally ready. Hey, Gabar, I want to join men going God's way. I want to, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that, and he gets a phone call. Well, a mistake that he did, an action he did some few months back. Brothers, man, now is the time to wrap it up, or get on your Enoch. Get on your Enoch. Leave that. Get on your mug mode. Leave these women alone, because now when you are adding to the problem if you continue having children out of wedlock and having unprotected sex with women, Western women, It's not healthy. It's not good. Get on your Enoch, Brother Ricky. What you want to say?
Two things. For that brother who said he's expecting a child, if he's a brother that is on his stuff, like he works and he does the right thing, he better go get him a DNA test for that child, because a lot of women who do a lot of promiscuous activity, they look for the guy who is the most responsible and got his stuff together to pin him as the father, because he would be the one to do the right thing. And then next, it'd be some sorry joker who got 35 kids who really is the daddy, and he just a doggone, dummy that just failed for the okie doke.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
And then the other, and then the other thing is that right now, I think this is a beautiful nightmare that we are experiencing, to see the things that are taking place. And what do I mean by a beautiful nightmare? The Bible told us that that the day will come where men will be lovers of themselves. That, people of the, homosexual lifestyle will be basically on the rise, and basically all these sins will be on a heightened level. We are living that all in one right now in this Western society. Now, the best part about it is this. But the fact that in Revelations we could read all of this at one point, guess what? That means we're close to the end. Our ancestors wish they could be at this point right now. Instead,
Come on, brother, preach.
They're the ones that had to go through the hell to allow us to be where we at today. So we have to be appreciative and grateful for the fact that our ancestors did what they had to do. They left out of 70 AD. Because we talk about the Trail of Tears. What about the trail they went through from from Jerusalem all the way to the west coast of Africa? That's a long journey.
Yeah.
How did they get there?
Yeah.
They want no magic carpet with Prince of Boo Boo.
African is huge.
So,
Africa is like 3 times the size of America. So that was a journey and a half. Clearly took more than a year and a half, that's for sure.
Right. So, I just believe that for us brothers that's and even that brother that believes he got a child on the way, that ain't saying that's the end, because guess what? If he get on his queue, let's just say that it is his. And I'm not, let's just say it is his. He ride for the Most High hard, and he do what he's supposed to do. You'll be surprised how the Most High turn things around for you. Now, it's not saying you ain't going to go through no hell and high water, because, listen, for everything that we done did wrong, we all going to get our behind spanked for it.
Yeah.
But but if you get your behind spanked for something, then you need to be happy, because that means the Most High still love you. If you do some messed up stuff and it just seems like life is great and you just living on, then that's when you need to be scared, because that means the Most High be like, you know what? Go on about your business, man. I ain't got time.
Hellfire.
So
Hellfire.
What I'm hearing from you, brother, you're telling me, Gabar, you're talking about the Book of Clarence, and we're dealing with the book of the real book of it's called the Bible, is being manifested and foretold right in front of our faces, and we're worrying about the Book of Clarence. You're probably right. Maybe we don't have time to talk about what's going on in Hollywood, because Hollywood is dead anyway, right? I mean, the fact that this movie did so bad is kind of a testament to that. And it's time for us to come together and have a real conversation about the real book called the Bible, right?
Come on. Come on.
And I think you're right, because I saw the movie, and like I said, the visualization was powerful. Yes, I think if we had more time, it would have been great to see a movie without people being portrayed correctly, respectfully, not a satire. It would have been great, but we don't have time for that. You know what? We're going to see the real movie live when Christ, you know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. However, though, the conversation I want to have is what's happening, right? What's going on? Is God going to use this movie somehow? Is God going to use movies, and is God using us in this conversation about what's really going on, not only in Hollywood but in the world. Because you're right, there's a lot of things going on. You know, if I was someone else and they would ask me, I would say we're probably in the middle of war, about to enter into World War III. And
Well, yeah, and so if you don't mind, if I
Yeah.
can cut in real quick, I think that's the major thing, because I will be honest, and I talk to Gabar frequently and often, and I'm very transparent, very honest. And but I'm very well knowledge within the scriptures, extremely well knowledge. But sometimes you could be so well knowledge within the scriptures where, the gestation of the scriptures is not as powerful as it once was, because you know it so well, like the back of your hand. And
Yeah.
sometimes you could take that for granted. And so I'll be honest, like I transgress intentionally. Transgression of the law is intentional sin. So, and I have two sins that I intentionally do. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm like, well, God gonna give me a pass. He gonna shoot me a pass because I'm still doing His work. But then also there's something like within me that's like, yeah, you keep on playing that, son, and trust me, you can lose your salvation as well. And Gabar always tells me, nah, brother, you have to deal with the righteousness of the scriptures at the end of the day. And I'm kind of at a crossroads right now. Where I was like, well, I'm gonna go do this, and sin is present there. I'll be honest with you. And then the other option is where sin is not present. And the bar was like, I think it's better to do the one where sin is not present. You can still kind of garner and glean the things that it is that you're still human. You still have a few desires. Nothing wrong with desires. Make sure that your desires are comprised within the constraints of the law, statutes, commandments of the Almighty.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's no longer a sin. What do you think about that, Brother Ricky, as well as Gabar? But Gabar and I have spoken about it, but the panel needs to, the parishioners, listeners need to hear about that too. But what do you think about that, Ricky? And on top of that, do you transgressionally sin yourself?
To answer the second question about do I transgressionally sin, I have. Lately, things have been very heavy on me. Like very heavy on me. Like far as just, I don't know if it's my age or what, but stuff has been very heavy on me on like staying strong on what I need to do, because I do, like, it's a thing in America what we call too smart for your own good. And a lot of times I believe that for some of us brothers, and I'm speaking about myself first, and then what you asked me as well, my good brother, for us to have came into this truth so early, that may have gave us a crutch where we're not really fully on our square, because it's like, well, I know this, all I gotta do is that. And it's like, yo, you playing Russian roulette with your own life.
Come on, brother. Yes, sir.
And then it's like you really gotta take it to a point of, okay, if I'm playing Russian roulette of my life, am I really doing the work that needs to be done? Because there's a lot of brothers who need our help. And if we're not on our square, how can we help them? Because we're not really available to help if we're dealing with our own bull jive. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just know that, we got to really, stomp down on the things that we are doing or have done, or we having troubles making decisions on. Maybe I shouldn't do that because I don't want this to happen. But at the same time, I know all I got to do is this, and then I do that. It's like, okay, you want to play those kind of games? Keep on now. So, like Edgar Bar does, he stand, like they say nowadays, stand on business. Listen, just stand for the Most High. Just like Noah and his sons, because Noah stood for business. Guess what? Yeah, they got wives. They had to pick them out, probably not the best situation. But guess what? When the women seen that the whole world was flooded, the women said, "Shoot, you know what?
Hey, they got in pocket real quick,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Hey, husband, are you hungry? Yes. Yes. I'm gonna shut up, girl. Let's get it together.
Come on, it got
You know what
real.
I'm saying? Yeah.
It got
You
real.
looked out that window and you didn't see no earth. Oh yeah,
Right.
you gonna chill out with that bull job.
Hey, you gonna become traditional with the quickness, ain't you?
You stuck in a big old boat with all these animals and stuff. You better chill out now.
Right. Yeah. You know how this conversation reminds me. It's like we are Noahs. Like now I understand why the story of Noah is important. Noah was being criticized for 100 and almost over 100 years while he was building the ark.
120 years.
And nobody
20,
believed him.
yeah.
So
Right.
we have to build our ark.
Bingo.
Not a literal ark, right? But a refuge, right? The ark was the refuge. I think if we build it, they will come, and you're right. There's going to be a scenario, and I have said this before, even when I was in GOCC, that if you drop the seed with your family, they might criticize you the same way they criticize Noah. But guess what? When they start seeing the prophecy being fulfilled, when the light goes out, they're going to be, your phones, brothers, are going to be off the hook. Where you at? I had a question about the Bible. I'm telling you. So I think what the Holy Spirit is trying to tell us, man. We got to get our act together because I think, are the first tier of people that's supposed to be getting prepared the people who are coming next.
Hop on that ark. That's right.
So we got to start with that ark. And with that ark, it could be many things, right? We got to make sure we got a passport. We got to make sure we're not, nothing is holding us back as a man. In other words, you're not attached to anything. No one has nothing over you. That's why you have to make sure your money's right. Your debt. You don't have nothing holding you back, and you know how to live close to the ground, man. Close to the ground.
Off the grid. But see, let me ask the question. So Gabar, we know that you're married, so you got that. You have that in-house lawful sex. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I'm not. I'm a widower, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I get in where I fit in, but I understand that that's a sin. All right, and I'm not a bad-looking man. Brother, but I understand it's a sin, and if I continue down that trajectory, I'm gonna have to pay for that. Brother Ricky, are you married?
No, I'm not.
How do you satisfy your manly needs?
Honestly, like at the moment, sadly, like I may have me a drink or two, maybe three, and then video and the fact that I work 10 hours, 12 hours a day, I clock out real quick.
Gotcha.
It's not easy.
That's
guys.
the thing.
Honestly, it's not like, it's not like I drink wine. Like, my, I'll be up front. My problem is, I drink gin, Hendrix gin. And I know that's not like, because it says strong drink. Well, Hendrix gin is a very strong drink. So, and I'll be transparent with myself first, then my good brothers, because, it says confess your sins upon one another, so, because, the mother of my child, she be accusing me of all kind of stuff, not knowing that, I'm not going to tell her, but if she listens to this, whatever, I don't care, because I'm being honest towards myself. Like my problem is, I drink gin when, like, when my mind go different places. I know if I had that drink, after a while, I'm gonna lay down and go to sleep. So That's me.
Yeah, and
That's
brothers,
what it
listen,
is.
I'm glad we're having this conversation and freely and openly. And brothers that are listening, you're more than welcome to call in. I got the Zoom link. You want to come into the Zoom or the call, the number. The number is 267-358-0879. And, you know, I'm glad that we're having these candid conversation because I think there's no place that I think there's a safe place, I think, for men to have a real conversation and to give each other a break in the sense like, listen, man, I always used to say this to brothers that operated in being celibate because they haven't found a right wife. I said, well, brother, it's only a matter of time until you fall. The question is you gonna lay with your wife or you gonna lay because it's hard. It's just simply hard. It's not impossible. So let me not say that it's impossible, but it's hard, right? Because we're like Lot and vex every day in a filthy generation, right? I'm paraphrasing. The Lot was vexed hearing the conversation of the people from Sodom, right? So I could imagine how he felt, but I think America is worse, man. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think America has surpassed Sodom and Gomorrah sin or is getting close to it? What say you guys?
I would say it surpassed it by a long shot because the Bible told us, it says that the daughter will be worse than the mother.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. We talking about Rome. We're talking about the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Canaanites. We talking about all of it in one place at one time.
Yeah.
We talking about a place where a person could do you wrong and still take you to court, and they win the matter when they did you wrong. We talking about a place where just because you got a woman pregnant, they could take you for everything you got. Just because you got married, they could snatch your whole life away and you staying outside in the sewers. We talking about a place where just because of a certain demographic, your life might be taken because they take you as a threat. I mean, or just because you believe that homosexuality is wrong or doing certain things is wrong, they're going to try to castrate you. Like, I don't have family members say to me, oh, you homophobic? And it's like, excuse me, homophobic? How can I be homophobic? Homo, man, phobic, afraid of. How can I be afraid when I am being a man? What's wrong with y'all minds? Y'all think upside down and backwards. So, I mean, it just, like I said, right now, I think we are living in a beautiful nightmare. We are at the end, but grace is, like you said, Elder, grace is being minimized. At the same time, it's still there for those who are taking it serious to get their junk together.
Yeah. Yeah. It is sad, man.
So I agree with that. So I think that United States of America is worse because Sodom and Gomorrah was somewhere, it's somewhat debatable, but it was somewhere between 500,000 to 1.5 million people. We today live in a country, United States of America, anywhere between 340 to 350 million people.
Yeah.
And the difference is debauchery is lawful now, like the brother was saying. My daughter can curse me out, go wild on me, trip out, and all I'm trying to do is teach her about the law, statutes, commandments, read the scriptures, find yourself a young man that's going to be honorable. You know what I'm saying? I'm vilified as being a man dealing with righteousness, but she will not go against her mother when she but her mother's lifestyle, and I'm not going to go into all of the intricacies of her mother's lifestyle because that's not the place to do this. But she understands what it is, and that's glorified. See? So, yes, we are I mean, if you statistically speaking, mathematically speaking, we would we'd have to be somewhere around 100,000 times worse than Sodom and Gomorrah, just mathematically.
Sodom and Gomorrah is in your cell phone.
Come on.
Yeah, yeah. And with sisters, the sisters that are listening, if they are listening, this is not us complaining. This is us. This is our frustration as men, and this is what we've been seeing. That yes, we're dealing with our sins and we're dealing with our mistakes, but we are also seeing the buffoonery, the craziness that is happening here in America, and it's not that we don't, that we hate you or we despise you, sisters, or what have you. This is all love. This is all just simply just frustration. And I think the only way to fix the problem, and like you and I was having this conversation today, brother TC, that the only power we have is to not engage, not to give our power to the society, to the system. If we could find a way to get out of the system, to not engage, if I'm not in control of this house, if I'm not in control of you, woman, I am not here. I'm gone. And we have to mean it. We have to stand by it. We have to come with standard, and we cannot break away our standard. Now more than ever, we need discipline. The etymology of the word disciple is discipline.
Come on. Right.
We need disciples.
I like what you said. I like what you said earlier when we were having a conversation. And you said, because a lot of people, it's unfortunate that so far into the game, still one of the major cataclysms within society are we haven't been able to fix the dynamic of relationships. All these thousands of years or hundreds of thousands of years of, there are different variables as far as how long people think Homo sapiens were in existence, whatever the case may be. We still can't get relationships right. And I like your ideology. Be like God. What does God do when he's not rocking with us no more? He just turns our back. He just turns his back.
Yeah.
That's it. Do you know how strong that is? He's just like, that's all he does. He don't go upside our head. You smell me? He just turns his back, and by turning his back,
he just let us loose and let us deal with the animals, the beast, the monster, the
bro,
the other gods who are going to treat us as a whore. They're going to use us, abuse us, and they're going to leave us, all whorish, and then we're going to be crying back to our husband, the Most High God. So he just like, listen. This is going
to be controversial. This is going to be controversial. People might not like it, but I really believe that women were literally created for men so that we can identify with how God looks at us.
Yes, that's exactly right.
We frustrated when a woman won't listen to us, right?
Now you know how God feels.
How come you're not getting it right, right? And
You're
God
welcome.
is like, ding, 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 ding. That's how I feel about you, family.
Right.
See?
Amen to that, brother.
For the rascal.
Brothers, listen to the sound of my voice. It's always our fault. Everything that goes wrong in your life is your fault. Everything. Take responsibility. Fix it. Because ultimately, God gave man this earth to till it and to guard it. He gave you a helpmate, but that helpmate is just someone to help you to do your job that God has designed you for, and it's to run this planet, and we have ruined it. Israel, it's your fault that you went to slavery. Israel, it's your fault that you have been dealing with captivity. Israel, it's your fault that you lost the land of Israel. It's your fault that you got kicked out of Israel. It's our fault. We men have to take responsibility, but more importantly, we have to start taking action, and we have to start putting on our heavenly garments, our heavenly essence as God. And what is this society is looking for, right? What is the greatest threat, right, to every side? We all see these movies and these anti-hero type of movies of a guy who doesn't want to be in that position, but he can be bought, he can be sold, right? He's the most dangerous person because he can be bought, he can be sold. But what if you have not only an individual, but you have a group of men, thousands, millions, saying, we're not engaging in society, man. We out of here. You know how much power that is, and we just walk away? We don't need the glamour. We don't, and this is the reason why I would, Brother Ricky, few weeks back, you called in and something you said resonated with me, and kind of, it made me to rethink this whole, high value man that, you have to have 6 figures to be a qualified man going God's way, and we'll help you to get that, this and that. I may have to tweak that a little bit because you're right. We may have to be living up the grid with no salary, barter system, hunting, farming. We don't need it. We don't need nothing. We just here. We here. We're good. We look out for each other. And we just wait until the society, collapse. And so maybe, I'm glad I have these experiences and these bright minds around me, because it inspired me to even do better, even to make sure that I am whatever I'm trying to do to help the young men out, because there's a lot of brothers out there, man, that need help, that need to talk to brothers, need to talk to people that are going through exactly what they went through and what advice, because we don't have a place. Society tells men to shut your mouth, work, shut up, provide, and shut up. And you're providing to do what? To maintain this society, uphold this society. And I think we have to start thinking and saying, okay, not only we have to come together for the collapse, but we have to figure out a system how to survive without the system. I know I won't be able to survive without
the middle
the system.
passage. That's right.
Yeah, I don't know how to survive without the system. I mean, right? I have a job. I got bills. I pay taxes. I'm in the system. I got a credit card. I got a debit card. I swipe.
How long do you think we have? How long? I want to ask Brother Ricky too. How long does everyone? You think we got a year, 2, 3, 4 years until like this system is no more and we have to be off the grid? I'm curious to know, because I hear so many variable, different idealizations of how much time we have. World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab says these things, whatever. I'm curious to know, like, what do y'all think? How much time? I have my own idea of how long I think, but I'd like to hear what y'all say first, and then I could.
Well, Brother Ricky, I want to hear your thoughts, but this is how I look at it. That question, it's like this. I'm looking at the 2024 election, right? I already had a conversation with my family that, hey, if we need to go to DR and Shuck and my family's house over there, if things hit the fan, just drop everything. We have to shoot over there, and we'll figure it out. That's plan number A. If thing goes bad a year from now, in regards of in the middle of the election, there is no election, some form of martial law happens. That's plan number 1. Leave and figure it out. Leave our jobs, leave our homes, just leave everything. If they're forcing us in any way to do anything that we don't want, that we feel could compromise our religious belief. If we do survive the election and life goes on after the election, I another 5 years maybe. I don't know. Maybe 4, maybe 3. I don't know. But I don't know. I'm ready. I have my to-go bag when it's time to go. I don't know when's that time. That's my answer, Brother Ricky.
I would say this. 2025. They done had Project 2025 set up since like 2012. So with that being said, it says be prepared for the worst, and you can hope for the best.
Yeah.
Now, if Trump get back in office, which, according to the Bible, if you read history, I forgot what that king name. I had a discussion with a brother named Brother Nathaniel years ago. So I do believe Trump will get back in office. Nevertheless, the Simpsons had a predictions, and they put things in cartoons because they know what would happen. Like Shannon Sharp being as big as he is, he was on the Simpsons when he was still playing football, but on there they had him projected as some big star. Well, what's going on right now? He's a star. So I would say this. It don't matter if he do get back in office. Take everything you're doing very seriously right now. Live beneath your means. Cut out any extra things that you're doing, and make sure that by December this year, you have everything you need to be ready to get up out of here.
Oh my God! This brother done read a book, done read a passage out of my book, right, Gabar? But keep going.
Yeah.
Come on, hey, come on. But keep going. I don't want to stop you, but brother, yes, sir. Keep going.
What I'm saying is, take these next 7 to 9 months as if it's the last 7 to 9 months you will ever have.
Thank you. Free
for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Hey, listen, go learn go learn martial arts, whatever. If it's jujitsu, I'm a Krav Maga type of guy. I don't got time to play no games with you. Take you down quick as possible. Get your wig split. You shouldn't have messed with me. Tough butt. Learn how to shoot a bow. Learn wind speeds. Learn the start far as like when the sun is up. Because if your phone go out, you need to know what time it is. But you can learn the time by understanding where the sun is by the day. Mm-hmm. Know how to build a fire, whether if it's wet or how cold it is. Mm-hmm. Just know if they, y'all understand when I say that, if they decide to come after us, when they do, it's not if, when they do, it will be winter, it will be the Sabbath. And you need to be prepared to snatch, grab. Hey, listen here, stop all that pouting, get that bag, let's go. No, listen here, y'all go, listen, I don't care nothing about this house. You can have your little car. I don't care about nothing. All I need is my bag. We up out of here. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Be prepared for the absolute worst. Know how to live by yourself without absolute nothing. If you have to set up a tent in your backyard and you have to discipline yourself the only time you go in your house is to take a shower, do that. Because it's going to help you out, because you need to be prepared to help those who can't help themselves. Remember, Moses dealt with so much when it came to our ancestors because everybody was so used to living with the hot plates and stuff in Egypt. But we in Egypt right now, like it says, where we in the house of whatever it is called. But what I'm saying is we just need to be prepared for absolutely for us to be kicked out into the woods. And remember, it's a reason why, one, they're cutting down all the trees and they're thinning out all the forests throughout America because they're trying to make sure that we ain't got nowhere to go. Because this is the thing. Our people need to learn to shut up. We talk too dang much. We let everything out and they'll be like, well, okay, this is what they plan to do. Let's thin out the woods. Oh, this is what they plan to do. Let's go ahead and poison the water. Oh, they think they're going to just do this. Let's poison the air. We must learn to move in silence. Like when them people in the Masonic lodges and the Elk Lodge, when they make plans, don't nobody know until the plans are on a full deck and it's in our face.
Everybody has to check in their
So,
phones. You're right. You're right. They don't play around with these meetings. That's why
yeah.
you rarely hear a leaked video when they having these meetings, because they don't play around with that. But you're right. We'll promote where we're going to have the meeting. We'll record the meeting. We invite everybody to listen to the meeting. You're right. So sometimes we have to know when to talk and when to just shut up, what to say. And you're right. I think even for me, our egos get in the way, right? Even with subject matters, right? I want to say what I want. I don't care if I get my channel gets get kicked out, demonetized, or I get I'll go to Rumble. I'll say what I want to say. But is that a healthy way to look at things? When Christ says, "Be humble as a dove, as wise as a serpent." If I'm following Christ's commandments, because I believe that was also a commandment. These were the word to live by that He gave us. And you're right. I think we have to continue reading Christ's teachings and see if we're applying them in our life. If we're not, if we're coming short, we have to recalibrate our thinking and our move. You're right. Be humble as a dove and as wise as a serpent. Absolutely. But let me get
well, just one more thing is
Sure.
when the Bible tells us wise as a serpent, let's think about that here. When a serpent is slithering through the grass and he's on the prowl to do whatever he's do you know that serpent coming at you? Not at all. Do you have an understanding of anything about that serpent? Not at all.
Yeah.
So when it says be wise as a serpent, we have to study a serpent, not to be a serpent, but to understand how we need to move accordingly, so we could be the best servant to ourselves, our families, and the people that He is going to allow to come into the circle that we have created.
Absolutely.
I think that's well said by the brother.
Yeah. You got to be not seen. I mean, serpents. The way they hunt, they camouflage. They blend in.
Subtle.
They don't.
Subtle.
Yeah, they don't show their colors. They blend in with the environment, and that's what we have to do. And that's what we have to. Brother Zedekiah, if you could call in the show, because the brothers won't be able to hear you, Brother Zedekiah. If you don't mind, I see you're calling in. I'll try to call you in on this end. But absolutely, it's you got to be settled. You got to be, I remember watching an interview.
So it's sorry to cut you off real quick. So it sounds like the Elder Gabar, you think it could be anywhere from 1 to 5 years. The brother Ricky believes it could be by the end of this year. Which I agree with. I believe like winter of this year, everything is going to jump off. So I just wanted to just throw that out there. Keep going.
Okay, so there was a thought I had and I missed it. It will come back to me, but the interview I was having, I was about to, that I heard I witnessed a few years ago. It was an ex-CIA person, and he kind of he did like his experience and what the CIA kind of operates and how they do it and so forth, so on. And they go out of their way. If you are, when you see in movies, FBI agents or secret agents or like guys looking like James Bond and so forth, so on. But the CIA says you want to look you want to look like everybody else. You want to blend in. You don't want anything that will point you out. And they even say
incognito.
Incognito. Even if you need to if you too much in shape and you look too much in shape, gain a little weight, put clothes that don't make you look threatened. Don't look people in the eye. Wear glasses. Wear a beard without really, just look normal, like you're not, and so forth, so on. So the enemy is kind of applying similar to what Christ says to some degree for wickedness, right? for espionage and worldly gain, right? But we are not applying these things, especially with our people. We always got to show off. We always got to be, the loudest peacock in the room. You're right, and maybe Christ told he pinpointed and highlighted what will be our weaknesses as a nation.
Mm.
And we just
And we're not heeding them.
And we're not heeding them because those are weaknesses. Maybe we have to revisit that because we like the drama. We like the drama. And maybe Christ was trying to warn us, stay away from the drama. Stay away from that light. Go away and be humble because he know that will probably be a downfall. Like the brother Ricky said, we talked to him.
What do you think that is about our people wanting to peacock, to sensationalize our external attributes versus our innate spiritual attributes? What do you think is why do you think that's the causation of why we move the way that we move?
People that have been downtrodden for so much, you're nothing, you're a slave, you're N-word, you're nothing, right? Want to prove that I am somebody, I am special. So I think part of that comes from that trying to be something that they're or show the world that they are something or special or they're just as good as. My thoughts. That's what I think. Brother Ricky, what do you think?
I'm gonna level with the everyday man for those that's fully in the world. Back in the day, I'm gonna bring up two rappers. Juvenile, where he had a song called "Acting Like a Negro." He didn't say Negro. That ain't never had ish. And then Trick Daddy, he had a song where it was like America, and it was like, you're a lawyer and you got a big house and 2 cars. You still a Negro. So the thing is, because, and like you just said, Elder, people that has been downtrodden for so long, we want to prove ourselves that we not that. We want to prove ourselves to a people that here it is. It's not meant for us to prove anything to anybody, but we need to prove ourselves to the Most High, and we have to reprove ourselves due to the fact that our ancestors did what they did, and we must take accountability and responsibility for the downfall because we are one people. And once we show forth that we are one people, then that is when we can show that we are the rightful bride for the Messiah to come back and say, I'm ready to take y'all back.
Well,
Brother Ricky, you think it's because we're impatient?
Oh, yeah, we definitely impatient. I mean, look around. I mean, here it is when the government was giving out all that money. When the government was doing the PPP loans, instead of Negroes being like, okay, you know what? Let me get myself together. These jokers out here lying. You in the suburbs of Chicago talking about something, you got a farm.
Yeah.
Really? You in Chicago talking about you got a farm.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that system?
So, yeah, we impatient.
Yeah, and I think we got Brother Zedekiah calling in. Brother Zedekiah, you on the phone? Can you hear me?
Shalom, brothers. I can hear you.
Shalom.
Good brother.
Shalom, brother.
What you got to add to this conversation?
I came on kind of late because I don't really get the notifications. It's weird, but from what I've gathered so far, we basically trying to figure out when the serpent's going to attack, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So where are we until the end? Right. The signs are coming up all over the place. I think Texas now. There was a Supreme Court ruling that Texas is not following. In Texas with this whole border thing, you got the Russia-Ukraine conflict, you got the Israel-Palestinian conflict, you got the immigration conflict. We got so much going on. The election, some people feel that the previous election was stolen and It may steal it again. That's what some people are saying. I'm not agreeing or disagreeing. I'm just reporting the news. All this chaos going on, and as Bible believers, and the show was, we need to talk about the Book of Clarence, but I think, we should rename this. We need to talk about the book called the Bible, right? Because maybe, that's the reason why it's in do well, because
the Book of oof, that's good.
Right.
I like that.
So I guess let me ask you this question, and this is a question that Brother TC asked all of us. How much time do we have? So same question goes to you, brother. How much time do you think we have? A year, 10 years, 5 years, 3? What say you, Brother Zekiah?
I think we got like 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
Because there's a lot in Revelation that I feel like needs to pass before it really starts getting serious. And when it comes to the Book of Revelation, I look to the Book of Exodus also, because I feel like we're basically reliving the Book of Exodus up until, I feel like Revelation is kind of just the climax of the Book of Exodus. So when it comes to laws being passed and the children of Israel being revealed and being persecuted, I think we have 2 to 3 years, because if the Civil War breaks out next year, the country still has to go about the motion of the Civil War, and then the Civil War is going to climax, and that would take some time for people to really just go crazy, and then something is going to reveal who the children of Israel are. But I feel like we're close, but we're just not that close. I feel like we got 3 years until things really get serious.
Okay, and let me ask you, anyone this question. How soon? And I'm going to ask myself this question. I'm going to answer it first, but I want everybody to come after me. I'm not ready right now if thing hits the fan. I'm hopefully, the way I look at it, to be realistically, outside of, we need to flee in a year. I already talked to my family. If thing hits the fan that we cannot come back because it's crazy, we're going to DR, and from there we're going to try to go find our way somewhere in Africa. We figure it out. But I will be ready in a year. I'm hoping it doesn't happen in 6 months. I hope it doesn't happen in 8 months. I hope it doesn't happen in 5 months. I hope it doesn't happen in 3 months, because I think I'm going to be ready in a year. Maybe a year in a month, just to give me some leeway. Where do you think you guys are ready? Out. A month out, a year out, 2 years out.
I'll start. The reason why, because I think tactfully, so I think on my opponent's side, winter is the best time. Christmas would be the best day. EMP would be the best, right? If you ask me, EMP, Christmas Day. Everyone has traveled. They're chilling. They're with their family. They're waiting to open up gifts and things. It's not the dead of winter, but the onset. That's when everything would jump off. Why? Because you would have you're done. You would have you're a duck in water, right? There's nothing that you can do. It's the middle of winter. If the EMP jumps off, water after about a week, if you are not above, if you're not at equilibrium with sea level or below it, no water's coming in, no gas. Gas stations, grocery stores will be ran up inside of 36 hours. You're done. So and here's another thing.
So when
November 21st
when do you think you'll be ready?
Is when we're supposed.
When do you think you'll be ready? Realistically, you got
Okay, I'm gonna give you a realistic idealization of when I think I'll be ready. To be honest, I wish I had like 5 years, but I understand that's probably not what it's gonna be. As ready as I can be, um, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm probably gonna be about 25% ready before the election. I think that's really the big thing that you have to look at.
Yeah, the election.
November
Yeah,
21st,
yeah,
and yeah, November 21st is when we're supposed to know, and I don't think we're gonna know. To be
yeah,
honest.
yeah. That's
And
gonna.
I think you need to
Yeah,
be, and I agree with the brother Ricky. Like, you better be up out of here before December. Real talk. Whatever little bit of pieces of change in the Nari that you got, you better be up out of here. Have some chickens. Have a little farm, even if it's small, on an acre or two, outside the country. If you can't get outside the country, you know, there's farmland. There are log cabins that are um, uninhabited. Like, look at that. Outside of that, and I know a lot of people are probably listening because they may not have the physical prowessness that I have, or others might have. But that's it, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. If people ask me, like, real talk, and young men have asked me, men of all ages, to be quite frank, we've had these conversations offline. The end of this year, man. Period. That's it. You better draft up a plan, and whatever finances that you have, you better allocate them towards um, physical means that you won't be able to spend $1. You won't be able to spend Bitcoin. You better have physical, tangible assets, period, before the end of this year, before winter, preferably. Fit.
yeah,
As
absolutely.
bleak as that might sound, that's my answer.
Absolutely. And maybe we could, when we in the wilderness, we could argue and discuss whether, the Book of Clarence was a good movie. If we even have a television in the wilderness, who knows, right? We probably we don't even have that. But you're absolutely right, brothers. I think, uh, make sure you're in a circle, brothers, which means your home. Start working on that. Start working first on yourself, removing the being out of your own high. And then once you still clearly, you can start looking in who you're sleeping with, who you live with, who can you count on, who can you not. Get your wolf pack, and this year, 2024 is going to be a doozy. So make sure that you're on your game. Hopefully, this show inspires and encourage and put fire under people's skirt, as they say, to get up and going. But because I need this show for me. I mean, even this show motivates me to make sure my game is right, because it's a constant reminder. I'm not an elder anymore. I'm not, going to church, and because I left GOCC, and everybody knows my reasons. But this show is the only refuge that I have right now, encouragement, and I want to thank the brothers that are sticking with me, and I'm sticking with them, and it's a small group, but we're all we have. If and being in the truth is a lonely world. Well, that's why you do appreciate friends when they are in the truth with you, right? Even brothers that don't may agree with you in every doctrine that you may agree with, and we have to discuss that, right? Yes, let us talk the same thing and the same judgment and one spirit, one baptism, one mind. Yes, I'm all for that, but we have to explore the space and appreciate when we do have a friend that we could get along with that believes in God, is as concerned as the prophecies as you are, because I think the Christian church is not addressing these prophecies, right? They're not addressing the end of the world and what does it mean, and so forth, so on. I think they're more concerned.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
We've had this conversation offline. I like to kind of slightly preface it online, and I think that where our true safety basis lies is within the saints, or within the elect.
Yeah.
And so although I'm not the most righteous man, far from it. Even though I'm very well read when it comes to the scriptures, Booker T. Washington said, knowledge is power. But that's not absolutely true. It's the application, right? It's the application of that knowledge. You can have a lot of knowledge, but if you don't apply it, what good is it? So I believe that the saints, they're righteous. Even Christ said, pray to the Father that there be more laborers, for the fold is plenteous, which means followers. And I literally believe that those are the saints, those are the sheep. Not everyone has the cognitive abilities that a lot of us have, even on this conversation, right? But there are people that don't need to understand all the intricacies of the scriptures and be able to break them apart, right? In parables and whatever the case may be, and no extra biblical text. They just follow the scriptures, right? And I believe that again, going back to what you said, if you build it, they will come. So I say, if you have the knowledge, the wisdom, the intellectual, spiritual prowessness that I believe, us four gentlemen have on this phone right now, be that laborer and build, and let the sheep be the ones that you can also live off of, right? I think that is the safety haven, if you will. Why? If you, with the information that you have, if the sheep will follow, and of course the sheep are always going to be somewhat superstitious, or whatever the case may be, or gullible. That is literally a byproduct of what a sheep is, right? But at the end of the day, you lead them. But what do sheep do for the shepherd? They also give back to the shepherd, so they live off of one another. So although I am not, an extremely, extremely righteous man to the magnitude that I absolutely desire to be, and I am moving closer towards a trajectory to exhibit such righteous behavior, at the end of the day, if you do what's right, you help others, I absolutely believe, and you have sheep within your fold, those sheep will be your safe haven.
Absolutely. The charity covers the multitude of sins, as the scripture says.
Right.
And it's helping the flock. And that's why I'm very critical on leaders that are protecting the flock, or supposed to protect the flock, because, I'm very cautious, and I understand that position. I understand that's you don't play around with that with that position. If you're dealing with God's flock and God's people, and it's a scary thing, because it's if you don't sound the alarm, the watcher, if he doesn't sound the alarm, he's going to require the blood of the people in his hands. So, and we got to pray for not only have a standard for the elders, but we also got to pray for the elders. It's a top job. Whoever has it, regardless whether the reason they're in it, is a top job. And I believe most people that enter into those positions usually do it with some level of sincerity, and is doing the time, doing the process of it is when things get corrupted or get strange. And so forth. So we got to pray for our elders and our leaders, and not only from a church that we in, but all our churches. All the churches that are at least trying, to do the right thing. They might not always agree. We might not always agree with the doctrine, but it's a tough position. But pray for them, because they're in a serious position, and they're going to be required to give an answer to God for their works. In regards of defeating the flock. So it's a scary position as well. That's why we have to pray for them. And I just want to thank you guys, man, for allowing me to have a conversation tonight. It went somewhere else, and usually it does. I think, men having these conversations and even agreeing when they disagree, we're not going to see all things the same light, but we learn from each other. I learned from you guys today. I learned from, different angles. Sometimes, you have to get different angles, and you have to always test your sword and sharpen your sword with others. And that's how you get better. if you think you have arrived, if you think if your ego doesn't allow you to learn from anything, anyone, man, woman, and child, you're missing the point. Because life itself is a lesson. Your experience is a lesson. There's probably 50 lessons you have today in your life that you probably missed out, and you probably only got 3 out of the 50. God is always trying to teach us a lesson every day. Everything we learn, everything we see, everything we experience is a lesson that God is trying to sharpen us for the better, for the greater good. We don't want to be ignored by God. We want to be chastised, because in the scripture says that if a father loves those that he chastises. You don't want to be a bastard. You don't want to say, I'm not dealing with you anymore. You don't want God to turn away his face. In the same way how we may have to turn away our face from any man, woman, or child that is compromising our spiritual walk, right? Our safety, especially what's coming. Well, thank you, brother, for sharing your wisdom. Anyone who wants to say any last words?
For everybody that will end up listening, take the Bible seriously. Start fasting. Praying. Tries the things, the weight, carrying on, because the Bible said the Most High will put no more on you than you can bear. But the Bible never said that you, as an individual, can put on yourself than you can. So take the Bible seriously, and and let it be known to the Most High that they are doing towards and against it. And He knows where your heart is at. Your heart is truly behind your mind. He'll take that into account and watch how things turn around for you.
Amen. Amen.
Get around like-minded people.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you, Brother Ricky, for sharing. Brother Zedekiah, Brother TC, anything you guys want to add before we end the show?
Well, I would say, just keep the faith, stay strong. I don't think any of us are going to be ready on that day. But I had a conversation with a friend of mine who's on the pursuit of wealth. And a lot of people idolize being wealthy financially or being ready. I don't think being ready is part of the mission, but I don't think it's the goal. I think it's trusting in God and seeing how He can take us from not being ready, but to the objective itself. And, Revelation chapter 12, verse 17 says, the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Christ. So as long as you do that, whether you're ready or not, which I don't think any of us are going to be ready, we're going to be saved. And if you have the opportunity, I would even say the privilege to die in Christ's name, and that's an even better reward for the kingdom to come. So, just keep the faith, man. The Most High is always with us.
Yeah, because I think it's going to be either we're going to be ready 60% and then 40% God is going to take care, or we're going to be ready 80%, that 20% the Most High is going to take care of it. We cannot be ready for everything, because if we are ready for everything and we have a plan and a cause and effect for everything that happens, then there will be no need for faith.
Right.
When we read the scripture, is the Most High delivering us? Yes, we have to, take the advice of Christ. When you be prosecuted, move to one city, be as wise as a dove and wise as a serpent, humble as a dove, wise as a serpent. Yeah, all those truths, but ultimately, He's the one that is protecting us overall. So we cannot be ready for everything. There's certain things the Most High will have to be reminiscent has to show His power, by delivering us. So there's certain things we have to leave it in God's hands, but we still have to prepare it and take the heed that Christ told us. Well, thank you, Brother Zedekiah, for showing your wisdom and bringing forward your understanding. And then there was two, Brother Trent, Brother TC. Any last words before we end the show, brother?
I'll leave with this. Ecclesiastes, man. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. it, man. As unsexy as that might sound, that's the answer.
Amen. Amen. And you know what? Let's end the show with that verse. Not only that verse, but I also want to read the verse right after it, because I think the verse right after it is
there's one more after it.
Is as important and as important as the first chapter, verse 13. So let's read verse 13 and 14 before we end the show, because I think it's a reminder, right? Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work unto judgment, and every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Man.
Let's give our Most High.
Hey, bro, I got to get my bars up, bro. Yeah, I have more. If you ask me, man, I have more evil dealings than righteous in this world, but I'm working towards increasing it on the good side. But if you ask me right now, I've done more evil than I have done good. It might be close. It might be close to like right around the balance, but from this moment forward, I can make a choice to do good.
Well, thank you, brother. Let's do good together. Every sunrise, every sunset. Let's just try to do a little better than we did before. That's all we could do. Just try our best, and just stay.
Amen.
Just don't give up the fight. I think that's because we're complaining that we haven't made our destination. But if we pause and we look back, we're a little better off than we were the day before. We're just not moving fast enough as we think, but we are moving. I think. I like to think positive. So I and let's just continue to struggle. The thing is not to give up, because the frustration will make you give up and go back to the world and just forget it, because it's hard. That's we're lazy by nature. We always want to, our body is designed to go to the path of least resistance. We are actually going against our nature to go to the path of least resistance towards God, right? Because the Bible says that every work will be revealed, will be judged, and every secret thing will be revealed, the good and the bad. So we have to just literally fight against our nature, and it's God's will is going to be fulfilled, whether we like it or not. We have to just understand that we are pawn in his chess game. Hopefully, we are the ones that are called, because many are called and few are chosen. Or hopefully we are the one that get chosen, because many are called, few are chosen. Well, thank you, brother, for joining. You're sounding good. You're sounding positive. I know you're willing and dealing behind the scenes. So we definitely want to build it. If we build it, they will come. So we have to build it, because they will come. Because they will come.
Man. Love you, brother.
All right, peace.
Love all y'all brothers.
Shalom. There goes Brother TC. All right, good conversation, man. Good conversation today. Thank you, brothers, for joining me for this little conversation. Thank God for all the brothers, legit, 1611, you're all with us supporting. I got to put you as a moderator. I got to call you, remind me. I got to, I know I keep telling you that. But we have to maybe make you a moderator. But, with me, I let every text and everything said, as long as it's not sexual or immoral or illegal, you could comment about anything, agree or disagree, and so forth, so on. Those that want to support, the information is there in the bottom. PayPal and also Cash App, whatever you could donate is highly needed and highly appreciated. Make sure that you like and subscribe, because a lot of people don't get notification, because the power sometimes is just they don't get a notification. Although they subscribe and they get a notification, they look back, they got unsubscribed, there's no notification. So just double check and make sure that you got your subscribe, and comment. It's important, negative or positive, what you like or what you don't like. Everything matters, because it feeds me information. So brothers and sisters, but especially you brothers, thank you for joining me. Until next time, may the Most High keep you and watch you. Shalom.